So, using the UI of uh, Datadog, so this is a log analysis tool. I haven't worked in this yet, but this is like for the first time I'm having hands on this tool. Uh, I have worked on Elasticsearch. Uh, some time back, I was also doing that thing also. But this thing is something new. So, the idea of this experiment, this is basically the uh, what do you call that? This is basically the extension of the project that I was building yesterday. That is the bug tracking record. Sorry, tracking report. Actually, somebody is calling me. I've been getting calls, a lot of calls, but these calls are not just like they're of they're worth of nothing. They're not matching the profile. Nothing is serious about them when they talk. So I'm not sure why they are calling me so many times. Even though I have put a sweet note on the uh, internet that I'm not looking casually. I'm looking very seriously. But then still I'm getting, I guess they are not reading the things that they're not looking at the profile. I was having I was under this impression that every recruiter that is calling, they would have uh, you know s- taken out some time to look at their LinkedIn profile. Only after having looked up on that, they would actually call. But I think that is not happening. But anyways, back to this project. uh, so uh, this is the bug extension of the bug tracking project that I was showing yesterday. So the idea was like, um, I have to send this logs of the application. This is totally kind of back-end thing, because we usually do not need the front end, the UI to show the logs unless it is a specific requirement. When the user persona is a technical person in himself or herself, then unless that thing catches up, uh, we usually do not show the logs. It is just for the developers ease of coding stuffs and debugging things. So this is a complete backend thing. So what the idea of this entire experiment was, like, uh, sending the logs from the application to Datadog, uh, to be able to analyze the logs at one place. That is one thing. And the second thing is be able to detect the anomaly. So anomaly is like I'm using um, isolation forest. That is one of the machine learning ML model. So I've also used ML model in here to detect the anomaly and kind of uh, do things, uh, you know, rise up from the Django level and go to the ML level, and then do some sort of things on there. So this was the basic idea of executing this experiment. So quickly, without wasting any time, what I'll do is I'll just quickly walk through the code, and then we'll see how the logs are appearing and how the anomalies are being detected. Those so there are a couple of programming concepts that I have implemented, and I'm also getting ready to face any kind of questions on those concepts in my interviews as well. It is the sole purpose of doing all this experiments was like to have hands on and be able to recall everything, because there's a lot of concepts, a lot of patterns, a lot of stuffs out there, uh, which we do not remember unless we just recall that specifically. So I was actually doing that through this small exercises. So let me go to the, so that there is middleware concept, there is context manager concept, there is database locking system concept, there is ml model concept, anomaly detection model concept, that is log processing concept, and what else, there is salary concept, and authentication authorization I specifically covered yesterday. So I have also enhanced something over that. So I'll also say something about that here today also. So we'll just go to the core, uh, uh, kind of core application. So the first thing that would come to my mind when I'm to explain this thing is that how I send this application log to Datadog. So the first thing that we are supposed to do, we have to set up the Datadog in our application. So for that, we'll go to the settings file, and there are two things. One is application key, and the one is API key. So this is my account in Datadog. So I've got this application key, I've got this API key which I have integrated in the settings. So anything external in Django is has to be implemented, has to be integrated from the settings files which is in the core application, and we have to install our supporting application in the core application to be able to use all the settings that we are defining in the uh, application, the entire application. So this is the media file I discussed, I think, yesterday. So this is the Datadog key, and this is the logger. I've set up. I have not used the Python inbuilt logger because we have to send the logs to in a specific format so that it would be pre-processed and transformed for the ML model to be able to detect the anomaly. So what I did was I created a custom data logger and used the API key because in case the first operation that I'm supposed to do in the data logger is like I have to send the logs. Then in my salary tasks, I'm retrieving the logs and doing the anomaly detection. These are the basic uh, operations that I'm doing with the Datadog and this Django application. So I'll go to the setup. So this is the basic setup, uh, API key, and I have also created a HTTP handler. So this HTTP handler will do two things. It will take the API key and the URL as the input, and it will format the record. Okay, logging handler, it is one of the inheritable class that we are doing, and there is a emit in the logging handler module. There is a function called as emit that will receive the record, whatever message the loggers dot log, whatever message we are sending to that function on that module is being emitted on this function, so in the form of a record. So what I have done is that I have tweaked the record to my cater to my needs, and then the source that I have created is Docker because everything is been built on Docker. So source will be Docker. The source, as in the source of the uh, logs, would be Docker, and the status. What is the status of that record? Everything would come from the record. So that is the thing that I did, and I created a post request. So this is the URL. You will get the URL information in this section. Okay, in the integrations section, you have to go through all of this, and then you have to search through this URLs, and then you have to kind of give request to that. So I did the request and I got the response, and then I'm adding this. There's another one known as context filter. So context filter, it is doing nothing but it is attaching the uh, to the logger. I have to no, I was actually curious of knowing who has done which action. So that's why I created this filter context class, which is having a filter function, and I have created a context log context middleware. I have created log context. This is threading local. Okay, so I have annexed these properties to this context object and have added this thing to the this entire configuration to where I have added to add filter to the handler. Handler is the logger handler actually. Then propagate is false. These are all basic configurations. We will get that in internet. Even ChatGPT can help for this. Uh, So formatter I have used, this is the format. So basically when I'm doing the pre-processing, these are the fields I'm going to pre-process. So we have to be very particular of what format we are choosing when we are logging things. So that would it is in that format that the logs in the Datadog would appear. So this was all about the setup of the data logger. Then I have to do is what I did was uh, so this was the data logger logging setup is done, and then data logger is there. So this is the initialization of the logger. Now in every file where I need to log things, like if I go to the views, so what I had to do was I had to call this data logger. The name of that logger that I have created, custom logger, is that data logger. You would kind of uh, uh, known this thing that you could have you might have been known to this fact that we use name module to this, which is the main module. um, so I have replaced it with the custom data logger. So this is now this logger will pull all the configurations from the custom logger that I created in the settings file. So I can use the info level because I have created the hierarchy to start from the info level. It will catch all the info level messages. So I'm going to uh, do this. I did all of this logging specifically in all the modules that I have previously written. As you could see, logging error, logging warning, logging logger info. So everything I just got uh, uh, transformed with the loggers. So that is one thing. So first one is like creating the logging setup, and then some context managers, some classes, some filter classes, and then putting the logs. That is the next thing. Then we'll go to the next stuff. uh, like in JWT, one more thing we have to do that in my celery tasks, I had to kind of have the user and request ID information, and request path information in every module. Generally, it will be available in all the views if I inculcate this uh, log context and fill this data in the JWT of authentication, because every view is going through this authentication middleware. So that part is finished, but the real struggle happened when I had to pass these values to the shared tasks, that is the salary tasks, because the task is not bound to any view, so it is not basically going through JWT authentication. So for that, uh, for that, so I'll have to go to the tasks file. Where's the task file? Yeah. So I had to kind of write this decorator over here. Now this decorator, what it will do is um, it will wrap um, so basically what will happen, the decorator's chronology, the hierarchy, sorry, not chronology, hierarchy, the decorator is from top to bottom. So first it will go to the shared tasks, and it will bind all the information that is had in the shared tasks, and from the shared task it will go to this log context method decorator. This is a wrapper basically, and it will add again all the information from the quads that will come from the shared task, which is uh, which is bound to the application right now, having all the information about the configurations of the application, um, to context log context. Now this will have all the information about the user who's doing what and everything. So all these configurations I did because I wanted to uh, have the user information of whoever doing what in every uh, view, in every operation that I'm providing, in every log that I'm doing. So I wanted that information. And there is another thing. um, this is one thing, and that I've got three shared tasks. One is for processing the zip file, the bug file that we are doing, it has to be processed. So that is one thing. Second thing is um, query data logs, query data dog logs. So in the settings, in the uh, settings files, whatever configuration we are mentioning, we are sorry, not we. I am sending it to the Datadog, but at some point of time, using the celery cron, which would be running at every 1 second. This is just for experimental purpose, for industrial, for generic, and then for real purpose, it would be like some exponential value would have to be set on the cron to be uh, to get executed. So that is something different that requires even more configuration. I don't have time for that right now, so I'll just stick to something which is very simple. um so query data dog logs, whatever it is there, um it will uh, run through the celery tasks, and which is a cron. And the problem was like uh, this is run by the system, generally speaking, right? No user is running this one. So I had to provide a specific configuration through the setting, um, in the celery bit, that will go to ultimately to that wrapper, which will be having, which will be getting the quads, and um, it will have all the information. The user ID in this case would be the system. So this was all about the task configuration. One more thing that I did was, like I mentioned previously, I have got how many tasks? Three tasks, right? Three tasks. So in this task, so what I'm doing is I'm implementing the distributed log. So the distributed log would make sure. So this is the distributed log. It is basically a context manager. I've created a custom context manager with a timeout and a wait time. So it is a Redis log. So basically, what we'll do is, um, yeah, whatever whatever data we are processing, whatever data the task is processing, it will be like um, will be there in the Redis for some time. it's like a cache system. It's like a log system, and also it's like a cache system. It will be there until the task finish. It will be there in the Redis cache, and then it will be released. So generator concept is also applied. We have to yield as we get the key, as we get the trigger from the calling caller function. So it will be yield, and then ultimately in the finally block it will be released. So this context manager is called inside this query data log, because so as to prevent duplicate execution and concurrent executions. Then these are all Datadogs kind of things, saving the file to the log JSON. So I'm actually in the server, there is a log JSON file, or I'm creating here over here if it is not there. So I'm putting the, basically we have to send it to the S3, and we have to retrieve that from the S3. So basically what will happen is this query data logs, um, it will be running on a cron, and then when we have to show that, we have to fetch that from the, it will send it ultimately to the S3, and then we will have to fetch that from the S3. So this is about the query logs. The next one is a run anomaly detection, which is called when in the query logs, if there is data is available, I'm calling this one. This is not an implicit task, it is a conditional task. So if the data is there, so what I'm doing is I'm doing this anomaly detection, first of all loading the logs from the server, and then in this case we, as I said, we have to load from the S3, and then pre-process. So pre-process is like I'm sending certain fields to which I have to clean the message and pre-process things. These are all um, kind of trivial things, not to be, not meant to be explained in much detail. So going back to the tasks, and then summarize user activity. This is again a transformation activity. Of course, that requires a lot of Python implementation, but I don't want to go to the entire Python implementation in this. So detect the anomaly. So here in the detect the anomaly section, I'm actually implementing the ML algorithm, uh, which is uh, which is about extracting the X and Y features and applying the standard scalars to explore the features, and then choosing the model and bestowing the features for kind of fitting the model and then getting the information. So this was about the low level design of this experiment that I was doing. So I covered a couple of things. I covered a couple of concepts that would come handy in my interviews, of course. If you are hearing and if you are keenly hearing, then it would also be beneficial for you. I am sure about that. Uh, Apart from that, let's go and have a kind of uh, real experiment on this as usual. So I'll just go to my terminal, and here I'm inside the Linux terminal on the in my WSL interface. So I'll just clean up all the things, we'll clear it, and then build the file. So while it gets built, what I'll do is I'll create a user. Okay, so I'll go to this, I'll register a user, and I'll log in through that user. I'm going to register the user. User created successfully. Then I'll log in through this user and we'll get this token. I just need the token. So I'll grab this token over here. This is basically the auth part. and I'll go to the bugs part in which I'm creating a bug. So I'll create a bug file with this token, and let me just look at what is happening at the terminal. Okay, everything looks fine. So I created the bug. Now we'll go to the Datadog and we'll see the application logs. I'll go to the logs over here. So these are the logs that have appeared. As you can see, it has finished the zip file processing by this time. If I sending request to the Datadog API, this is the user sending. If I click on that, I'll be able to get the level of the information, the path, the request ID, the status, and everything. So who's doing that? That is being done by the system user, starting the detection anomaly. So basically, this is what the detection is happening. Anomaly detection. It is taking into account these logs to detect whether it is having any anomaly or not. Um, so as you can see, I have this task is released. That means the database log is released once the task is completed. So these are the unique IDs. One anomaly is detected that is under the system, so the algorithm has detected this as anomaly. uh, why it has detected this as anomaly? Because every user, that is, we it is taking into consideration from the log pattern that it is having. It is taking into consideration the 15, the, where is that, the 13 and 5 and system. So basically the system is doing a lot of things, and it is uh, some errors are also been are okay. There are no errors, fine, great, there are no errors. So let me just, what I'll do is, I'll, can I introduce a error? So what I'll do is, I'll keep this empty and I'll try to hit this. So file is null. And I think I have not placed any validation on the price. Sorry, on the, not price. Did I say price? I'm getting distracted. I have not placed any validation until now. So finished in 14 seconds. So these logs are coming from the application itself. Detected one anomaly. Okay, I have actually not placed any validation error. So if you have placed any validation error, then you will get this anomaly to be something other than the system. So basically, the idea over here is to get the logs from the application to be shown in here, and to be able to, of course, counting the anomalies would require a lot of other ratification than this uh, simple test, of course. But the main idea was to get hands on Datadog and be able to integrate that to the uh, Django application and see all the logs at one place rather than in the terminal. So because this is production ready thing that we usually have to uh, go through. So these are the 15 minutes um, metrics. And as you can see, the salary tasks are not logging anymore any information in the console. So I have all redirected this logs to be reflecting on the Datadog. So quite happy with whatever I've done so far, and I hope uh, I've scheduled one interview, but I'm not sure if I'll be. I'm serious about this interview because there's some considerations that don't want to speak right now. Uh, so yes, I'm hoping for the best because I have some expectation in my mind about the company that I'm going to join, and hopefully I get the information. Sorry, I get whatever I'm expecting inside my mind. I get that for real. I'm expecting that. So, thank you. Bye.